Assalamu alaikum, my dear students of 8th grade. I hope you are well. Today I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Ahlam Arrar. I teach English at صافا Basic School for Girls. Today we are going to talk about reported speech. Here, reported speech. As you see, before starting with reported speech, we have to know the meaning of reported speech. What is reported speech? In a very simple English, reported speech is to repeat the words of someone else. And here we have two kinds of reported speech: direct and indirect speech, which is the same as reported speech. I want you to look at these two examples. Here we have direct sentence, and also here we have a direct sentence. But in the first sentence, look at it, how we change the direct sentence into direct speech.
I can't speak French.
Again.
I can't speak French.
Yeah. Hala says, I can't speak French. In this sentence, we use, as you see, the exact words of Hala. And also here we have quotation marks. We do not change anything in her words. We usually use it mostly in writing. The next sentence.
I can't speak French.
Yeah, it's the same sentence, but here we change it with certain changes. We report this sentence into reported speech or indirect reported speech, but here we have some changes. Here we are going, in this class, we are going to discuss this kind of reported speech. First, we are going to talk about statements. We are going to understand how to change statements from direct to indirect speech. Look at the first example.
I have two brothers.
Yeah. Again.
I have two brothers.
Yeah. Even this sentence is direct speech. We are going to change it into indirect speech. I hope that you can notice the differences between the direct and the indirect sentence. Look at the differences. What can you see? First, here we have quotation marks. But in the reported sentence or the indirect sentence, we do not have any quotation marks. Also, in the indirect sentence, we use a reporting verb, which is says. Of course, there are other reporting verbs, but here we use says. And you have to notice that says is a present simple. That means that we are studying reported speech for statements without tense change. So, another change in the sentence. I is changed into she. Why? Can you tell me why? Yeah, I know that you know the answer. Because Hala is the one who is speaking. She's a girl. So I is changed into she. And of course we change the verb. Have goes with I, but it doesn't go with she. So we change have into has, and then we complete the sentence. Look at the second example.
The number of birds is
decreasing. Again.
The number of birds is decreasing.
Thank you. Hala says, here we have that between brackets, which means that it's optional. We can use it or not. And then we come back to the sentence. The number of birds is decreasing. Do you see or notice any changes? Of course, no. Why? We do not have any pronouns here in this sentence. So, from these two sentences, we notice that there must, or sometimes we do not have to make changes when we change from direct to indirect speech. For example, the first sentence here we have changed the pronoun and the verb, but in the second sentence we have no changes. Look at this chart, please. Here we have a chart of pronouns that are changed or usually changed when we use reported speech. For example, I changed into he or she, we into they, you into he, she, or they. Of course, at home you have time to study this chart. Now, we will have 3 examples. I want you to look at these 3 examples carefully and try to do them or to change them from direct to indirect speech. You have a minute to look at them, please, and try your best to notice what changes are we going to do. The first example is,
I don't like chocolate.
Again,
I don't like chocolate.
yes, Sammy says. You have to notice here that here we are talking about Sammy. I give you hints, so I should be changed. Number 2.
We haven't got anything.
Good. Here we have the pronoun we. So Ahmed says the pronoun should be changed. I think maybe Ahmed is talking about his friends. I don't know. Number 3.
You have to see a doctor.
You have to see a doctor. Mona says to her sister. Mona is talking to her sister. So you have to imagine how to repeat this sentence. I always tell my students that reported speech sometimes needs imagination, to use our imagination. So I think that now we will see the sentences, the solution for these sentences. Look at number 1.
I do not like chocolate.
Look how we change it from direct to indirect. I would like to notice, you should notice the differences. Sammy says, this is the reporting verb. Then we use that. It's optional to use it or not. Now we change I into he. Yeah, why? Because Sammy is the one who is speaking. He's a boy, so we use he. Oh, here we have another change. He doesn't. So do not is changed into doesn't. I always tell my dear students that he, she, and it love the us in a present simple, in a present tense. Number 3.
You have to see a doctor.
Yes. Mona says to her sister that who is going to see the doctor? Who is going to see the doctor? Mona's sister. That's why we changed you into she. Also, here we have another change. Have is changed into has because has goes with she. To see a doctor. I hope you understand these examples. Now, let's move to the second branch of reported speech, which is WH questions. Look at the first example.
Where do you live?
Oh, Hala asks me. Hala asks me. The WH word is the same. Oh, here in the question we have do, but in the reported or the indirect we do not have do. So we do not have do in the reported speech. Why? Can you tell me why? Oh, you can notice also that here we have a question mark, but here we have a full stop. What does that mean? It means that we change the question into a statement. That's why we do not need do in the indirect sentence. Do you understand that, my dear students? Okay, so we conclude that if we have do in the direct question and we want to change it into indirect, we do not need do, or we get rid of do, as you see. Now look at the second example.
Why does Ali move to live in Gaza?
Good. Why does Ali move to live in Gaza? Of course, here we use asks, not says, because it's a question. Also, asks is a simple present tense. Why? Because. Can you tell me why? Oh, because here we change WH questions from direct to indirect without tense change. We have to put this in our minds. Why does Ali move to live in Gaza? Hala asks. The WH word is the same. Oh, here we do not have does because we use it in the question. And we change the question into a statement. You can see that the punctuation marks differ from the question to a statement. That's why we do not need does. Can you see another difference between these two statements? Yes, of course. Here we have the verb move, but here we have moves. Why? Why do you think? I know that you use this, but sometimes you do not notice or you do not know why. Moves because of does. Here we have does. We get rid of does, but we add as to the verb. Is it clear, my dear students? I hope so. Now here we have some examples, and I hope that you can do your best to do them. Look at them. These are some WH questions, but if you notice, all of them use do or does. I want to make it as easy as I could for you. Look at A.
Where do you go every weekend?
Yes, where do you go every weekend? Hala asks me. So you have to try to change this direct question. The WH word is the same, and here we have some changes. I think it will be easy for you. Look at B.
What does Jerusalem mean for Muslims?
Yeah, what does Jerusalem mean for Muslims? Hala asks me. Here we have does, and I have already told you that if we have do or does, we have to get rid of them. That will make the sentence easier to change. C.
How much does your home cost?
Yeah, how much does your home cost? What's the meaning of home? Do you know what's the meaning of home, my dear students? Home is not a house. What is our home? Home is Palestine. How much does Palestine cost? Hala asks me. Here, the WH word is how much together. Look at D.
Where do you usually stay during the
emergency case? Again.
Where do you usually stay during the emergency case?
Good. Here, I think there should be here a space for solving it, but it's okay. This is the WH word, and here we have do. We will do it in the noun after that. E.
How often do Muslims pray a day?
Good. How often do Muslims pray a day? Pray a day. Here we have do, and it's easy for you to do them now because all of them have do or does. And I have already told you we do not need them when we report the questions. Now you can check yourselves. Here we have the questions, and here we have the indirect reported speech of these questions. You can notice if you look at A and its solution, you can notice the differences. Here we have quotation marks, question mark. Here we have a capital letter. Here we have small letter. Here we have you, but in the solution we have I. Of course, you have to have a look at the pronoun chart. Look at B.
What does Jerusalem mean for Muslims?
Yeah, what does Jerusalem mean for Muslims? Here we have does. The WH word is the same. And if you notice here, the order of the sentence is the same. The WH word, we get rid of does. Jerusalem is the same. Mean is the same, but we add s because of does for Muslims. And the order of the sentence is almost the same. Look at C.
How much does your home cost?
Good. Hala asks me the question word, the WH word. How much is the same. We get rid of does, and your is changed into my because she is asking me about the cost of my home, and we add s to the verb because here we have s.
How many brothers have you got?
Yeah, Hala asks me or wants to know. Here we have another reporting verb, wants to know. It's okay and it's correct. But what about this question? This question does not have do or does. So look about the changes. She wants to know, or she asks. The WH word is the same. How many brothers is the same. I have good. What happened here? Can you tell me, my dear students? Here in this sentence, have is the auxiliary verb or the verb with got. We make a shift for them to the end of the sentence and we change you into I. Here we change the pronoun. I want to tell you here that we make a shift of the subject and the verb. Why? Because we change the question into a statement. In the question, we use the WH word and then we use the auxiliary. But in sentences, we do not need to do that. Is it clear? I think that the second example would be clearer. Look at number 2.
Why is it dangerous to go out these days?
Yeah, why is it dangerous to go out these days? Hala asks, or she asks. The WH word is the same as you see. Here we make a shift between the verb and the subject. Why? Here it's a question, but here Here we have a statement. In the question, I always say that we will use or we use the verb or the auxiliary after the WH word to make it a question. But this is a sentence. So we have a change in the indirect reported a question. Do you notice that? And then the order of the sentence is the same as the question. And it's very important to change the question mark into full stop. Number 3.
Where are my books?
Yeah, where are my books? Omar asked, Omar is a boy. The WH word is the same. My is changed into his. Why? Because Omar is the one who is speaking. Also here we have a shift between the verb and the subject. Cut. ممكن تعمل cut.
بوكس 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 كأنه صندوق أو هيك صح؟
شو قلت؟ بوكس بوكس وشو الصح؟
بوكس
بوكس
لا أنت فيها صح بس سلبها عشان ما نشوف إنه غلط في
بوكس
بوكس
اوكي
تقدر تعيدها؟
مركوش انه بس سجل
اوكي
طيب.
Where are my books? Here, Omar asks where the WH word is the same. My is changed into his, and here we have the auxiliary verb are. We change the question. Here we use are after the WH word because here we have a question, but here we make a shift for it to the end of the sentence. Look at number 4.
What is your favorite subject at school?
Yeah, Sally asks or wants to know. Sally asks. The WH word is the same. Here we have is after the WH word because it's a question. But here is at the end of the statement. Here we have a question, but here we have a statement. You have to remember that. You have to remember it. This idea. Here we change the question into a sentence. That's why we move is from its position. We change the position of is because here we change the question into a statement. Here we have some statements for you in order to try to do them. Look at them. A.
Where is Omar studying?
Where is Omar studying? Sammy wants to know, or Sammy asks, and then we complete. B.
Why are you angry?
Yeah, Salma asks, and we have, or you have to complete it to change it from direct question to indirect. C.
How old are Ali's brothers?
Yeah, Haifa asks the WH word, how old, and you have to continue with it. D.
What has Alice broken?
Yeah, what has Alice broken? Ben wants to know, or Ben asks. Here we use the present simple, so we do not need to change the tense. Asks the WH word, and then we continue. E.
Where are my books?
Yeah, where are my books? Adam asks the WH word, and then we have some changes. Now, here we have the solutions. You can check yourselves. Now, if you do them well or not, look at the solution. Okay. Yeah. Now, you will have a homework, my dear students. Try to change the following statements and questions into reported speech. We will read the dialogue for you, and you have to change it into reported speech. Hello.
Hello, you are the new student at school.
Yes, I am.
What's your name, please?
My name is Muna.
I have heard that you are from Jerusalem.
Yes, my family is exiled from our home.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where do you live now?
My uncle is Mr. Ali. We live in his house now.
I am happy to meet you. I'm your guide here.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope you get benefit of this lesson. I hope to see you again in other lessons, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.